Welcome back to the funkiest punts on YouTube for poker content. We're at TCH playing 1-2 with a $500 max. First hand we look down at is pocket eights. We 3-bet to 30. We get a cold caller to our left, and the original raiser calls. We're going 3 ways to a flop that comes ace high. We're going to down bet here just to thin the field and make it $25. If we get raised, it's an easy fold, but we do have the range advantage here. We get one caller, and the original opener folds, and we're going to a turn, which is magnificent. The 8 of diamonds, we have a set. Now we're going to look for some value against any ace holding or flush draw, so we're going to make it $100. I'm assuming my opponent has some low suited ace, maybe like ace 5 of hearts, so we're going to target that part of his range specifically, and he does put in the call. The river is the queen of hearts. It's not a spade, and now I think it's time to go for max value. My bet on the flop and the turn were perfect sizings to set up a river jam. We have nothing but a pot size bet behind, so we take a couple seconds to breathe with our strong holding, and we decide to rip it all in. We're hoping we're targeting some sort of hand like queen jack or ace jack, ace 7, ace 8. And here in Texas, any ace holding might even call this because it looks like we have a missed flush draw. We're rooting for a call because we know that we have the best hand so far. He's taken too long to put in the chips, and he does flick in the call, and we show our pocket eights for the set, and he folds, and we scoop a nice pot for the first hand. If you want to join my poker journey, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Nothing better than binking your sets. On this next hand, we have pocket kings, and we're on the button. There's an open to $10, and we're going to 3-bet this in position to $30. The flop comes jack 9-5, 2 spades. With our overpair, we're going to still c-bet here. A little bit on the larger side, we're going to make it $40, and our opponent does put in the call. We verbally said $40, and he beat us to putting the chips in the pot, so he's excited. He seems interested in this hand, and I'm assuming he's on a draw of some sort. When the turn comes the 8 of spades, he checks to us. We're not going to get 3 streets of value on a board like this, and we might be lost already, so we're going to check this back and evaluate a river. River comes a blank, the 2 of clubs, and our opponent checks to us again. If he's trapping, he's playing this very, very well. But we're going to go for value here and bet $100. This bet is targeted for a jack holding of some sort. He's in the big blind. Maybe he has a 9 that doesn't believe me either. He does decide to put in the call. We flip over our kings, and they are good. We scoop another pot. We're trending in the right direction. And we look down at ace, deuce of spades. There's 3 limpers, so we're going to raise it up. We decide to go big here due to how many limpers there are. We make it $30. And one of the limpers decides to limp raise to 85. Our opponent who decided to limp raise is on the button. We're on the big blind, and I guess we put in the call. I truly don't know what I was thinking about in the moment. I guess we just didn't want to get bullied around this day, and we're going to a flop out of position. When the flop comes 6-4-6 rainbow, and we check to our opponent, he decides to blast off here. $235. This bet was extremely massive. We go into the tank trying to figure out what does this mean. The thought process in the moment is that he has ace king and he bets this big just to take the pot down early. And I think a check jam here will get him to fold any sort of ace. It's definitely possible that he has aces, kings, queens, or jacks, but I don't think he would go this big on a board this dry. Like, what is he afraid of to bet this large? So we want to turn our hand into a bluff here and represent any medium pocket pairs that are over this board. And we go all in for $300 more. And our opponent throws in the chip before we can even put our entire stack in. This is not looking good. We just punted our entire stack. The turn is the 5 of clubs, and then the river is the 3 of spades. So we now have a straight.
An ace and a deuce looks like a straight to the 6.
What?
We are in utter shock, and we're embarrassed that we somehow got there. Like, what the fuck? Our opponent shows us pocket aces for the perfect trap. He literally read our soul and knew how to extract the max value from us, and we gave it to him. We embarrassingly show the ace deuce for the straight.
Deuce 3, 4, 5, 6. He has a straight. Deuce 3, 4, 5, 6.
They rivered the straight.
And our opponent cannot believe it, and neither can I. What just happened? I think I just delivered the sickest cooler of this man's entire life. After reviewing this hand and seeing the limp raise to such a small sizing, his hand does make sense now. He's a recreational player. He limp raises aces, scared to see the run out and get coolered. He just wants to take the pot down now, and I failed to see that in the moment. This opponent looks like he's ready to jump across the table and knock me out. Our stack is massive, and a good friend of ours comes over and invites us to another table to play with them. They are action-packed, lots of fun, great guys. Just as I sit down, there's already a 4-bet all-in situation.
Mine anyways. Let me see. Yeah, show me one. No, I'm not sure.
Oh, he's strong if he's standing up.
You can't call. How high is your pocket pair? like the highest you can get.
All right, I fold.
Fold.
There's this.
Oh.
Good fold, good fold.
In this next hand, there's a raise to $15. 5 callers. We're in the big blind with 10 deuce offsuit. We're going to complete here and see a flop. The flop comes 10-3-5 rainbow. We check to the aggressor. He bets 50, and there's 2 opponents that call, including myself, and we're going to a turn. The turn is the 4 of spades. We gain equity with an open-ended straight draw, and it completes the rainbow, and it ends up checking all the way around to a river, which is an intriguing one. It's the 6 of diamonds. Now giving us the low end of the straight, we decide to go for a value bet of $100. Then the original raiser decides to raise me to $250. My immediate reaction and gut told me to fold this due to the low end of the straight, and I don't think our opponent's ever going to be raising on this flop with a set of 10s, especially when we have all the deuces and 7s in our range. So after some speech play and talking to the opponent and showing him my deuce for the straight, he doesn't look very intimidated, and I don't think this is going to be a bluff, so we let it go, and he is surprised that we folded. So it sounds like he was hoping for a call. And I think if this is a bluff, he would have gone bigger to like around $300 to $350. In this next hand, the gentleman who invited me over, who's looking for action, opens to 10. We put in the call, and then there's a 3-bet to 35, and we both put in the call. We have king, deuce of diamonds. We're sandwiched in between 2 opponents, and the flop comes 5, queen, 9, 2 diamonds. We have the second nut flush draw. We both check to the aggressor, and he puts out a bet of $75. Our hand is mediocre. It has no showdown value, and we're going to put in a check raise to $300. This should put a lot of overpairs or even ace-queen in a tough position. We're going to represent pocket 5s, pocket 9s, queen 9. The moment the chips leave our hand, our heart starts racing so fast. Our opponent was recreational, so I want to put him in a tough spot that made him uncomfortable. I think this would maximize the folds, especially with this large size that we chose. Then our opponent decides to ship it all in for $800. It's $500 more for us to call. There's $1,200 in the middle, and this is one of my biggest leaks in my game is I go on winner's tilt. After reviewing and editing this hand, I think I should be letting this go because even against ace-high flush draws, we only have a couple outs to win, but we do decide to put in the call for $500 more, and we're going to a turn and river. The turn is the jack of spades, and the river is the 5 of clubs, and we just punted off so much of our earnings of today's session. This feels like adequate karma for the ace-deuce suck-out that we had earlier. On to the next hand. Roast me in the comments. We have another interesting spot. We have Jack 10 off in the small blind. There's a raise of 15 and 5 callers, and we're going to complete here, assuming the big blind's going to call, which he does do. 6 total opponents in this hand. The flop comes 10, 10, 6, 2 clubs. We have trips, and we check to the original aggressor. The original aggressor makes it 45, a little bit on the larger side, and the button, who's a tighter player, decides to put in the call here. It took me a couple seconds here to figure out whether I want to raise this hand and protect against flush draws, or call and put in the trap and hope that we can dodge the turn and river. I decided to get aggressive here because we're willing to get it all in against any sort of stack size here, and we put in the check raise to $150. And both opponents end up putting in the fold, which we're a little upset about, but we're okay with taking down a pot and not getting coolered. That's one reason why I love creating these vlogs. I know I'm not the best player, but I'm very interested in becoming better and finding ways to extract more value or lose the least amount of money in each hand. Our table mate and action player decides to open to 25, and the tight player to our right 3 bets to 75 very quickly, and we look down at ace, king of diamonds. This is a perfect opportunity for a 4-bet, but we're going to take our time before raising to not give away any sort of tells. After a couple breaths, we decide to put in the 4-bet to $230. We're happy with putting our entire stack in with this holding, but it ends up folding around, and we scoop a pot. But our table mate has something to say.
Made it 25 with 7 deuce. Ran into it.
All right.
I mean, I can't play this place. Had you not done that, I might have just shipped it on you.
We open to 25 with ace jack, and our table mate calls in the big blind, says, "I'll give you some action."
All right, dude. Nobody else give you action, I will.
When the board comes 5, 7, 4, 2 clubs, and he checks to us, we're going to check this back and just pot control. We're never going to smash this board unless we have a club draw. And then the turn comes the jack of spades, so now we have top pair. But instead, our table mate decides to take the lead by betting pot. I love this sizing because I feel handcuffed to just call and not raise, even though I think I have the best hand. The river comes the 5 of clubs, and then we get into some speech play.
You're putting me in the test, aren't you? What? Talk too much. If I put in a bet, you're going to raise me. I check. 5? Yes.
Yes. Oh, Lord. That's funny. Sorry, sir. 1 second. We decide to check back, and he's upset because he wanted the value. He had a pair of fives that turned into trips on the river. We end up losing a small one. Thankfully, it wasn't more. And sometimes you just got to listen to that instinct because it's telling you what to do. Got it. Thank you so much. Dude, oh wow, you binked it. Holy shit. There's a raise to $10 and there's 2 callers, and we peel the Rockets pocket aces in the small blind, and we're going to bump it up to $60 with a 3-bet. The original raiser now shoves all in for $222, and it folds to us, and we're going to put in the call and run the board. Our opponent wants to run it once. Let's see if we can hold. He flips over pocket queens. This is a dream moment. We only have to dodge 2 out. We hold, and we scoop another nice pot, and onto the final hand of the vlog, my favorite spot so far. We peel ace king offsuit, big slick. The tighter player to my right raises it to $10, and we're going to 3-bet to 45. Folds back around to the original raiser, and he puts in the call, and we're going to an ace high board. My plan pre-flop is that if it comes ace high with a dry board, especially against this player's range, which is very capped, we're going to give him rope and check this back, and that's what we do. It goes check, check. Flop is ace 3 deuce. We've been playing like a maniac, showing down with some crazy hands, and this is our moment to pounce. Turn is the 7 of clubs, and our plan has now worked. Our opponent decides to take the betting lead, and he puts $60 in the middle. We're going to smooth call here, make it look like we have queens or maybe 10s, and then the river comes another deuce. Now, this isn't rocket science, but our opponent decides to continue for $75, and we're going to put in the check raise on this river. It's a paired board, so if he has ace jack, ace 10, ace queen, he's going to think we're trying to get him off a chop, or we're just bluffing. So we slide 9 green chips into the center of the felt, and our opponent goes into the tank. Our opponent's playstyle is very face-up. He's capped, and we're looking to extract as much value, and this is the perfect opportunity to do it. We're hoping for a call. We've seen this opponent fold some good hands against some questionable players like myself, but he does decide to put in the call, and we show the ace-king, and he flashes us ace-queen for a cooler, and we take down the final pot of the vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this funky punts of an episode. We cash out our chips, and we win over $1,000 on today's session. We're feeling great. Thank you for the support, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications.